Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I made the Santa cupcake cookies, so stay tuned and I'll show you how. Here are the things that I'm going to use: a 3-inch cupcake cookie cutter, and that came in a 4-piece set, and I believe it was from Wilton. I'm going to be using rose, red, and black food coloring by Wilton and some silver sanding sugar, but you can use white as well. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, to get started, I'm going to start off with the white part of Santa's hat. That way when that dries, I can move on with the top and the bottom. So what I have here in a tip 4 is a medium to thick consistency in the white, and I'm going to be using my sanding sugar. I'm going to be using silver this time, but you can use white, either one, and I have a little fluffy brush to brush off the sanding sugar, and I have it on my little tray here, and you can find this tray at craft stores. In the jewelry making section. It comes in handy. So as you see here, I'm just going to run it right through that bottom part, a little oval shape or elongated section. And I'm just going to kind of swirl it around to kind of flatten it out. And I'm going to keep the bottom part mainly flat. At the top, I can kind of fluff it up a little bit more, make little kind of like little hills, and then I can add my sanding sugar, or you can leave it plain if you don't want to or don't have any sanding sugar. You can go ahead and leave it plain if you like. Now I'm brushing this off, and I'm going to set this aside and give this about an hour and a half or so to dry. That way when you go in with your other darker colors, they don't want to absorb into this white. So go ahead and finish up the rest and let it dry. Alright guys, so I gave this some time to dry, and I can move on to the top and the bottom. This way they can both dry together, kind of move everything along. I have my pink here in a tip 3, and it is in a flooding, just slightly thicker, but not that much. And I'm just going to make a little bit of a square. You can use a ruler or anything to make some lines if you need guidelines. I'm just going to roughly guesstimate a little bit of a square. And don't make this too big because there's not much detail in the face, so you don't need a lot of space, or else you'll have a lot of empty room. So here, make sure that you attach the icing to the white, because there are crystals there with that sugar, and it has a hard time attaching. So just make sure that you just kind of like press it in there, or else it'll look like there's a gap, which there really isn't. They're just really tiny crystals that are clear, and then you can't see them, but it'll look like there's gaps in there. So just make sure that you push it in there. So that is it for this. So I'm going to move on to the top. So here I have my tip 2 again, in a flooding to somewhat medium consistency, and then just go ahead and fill in the top and then just smooth it out. Again, making sure that you push that icing into that sanding sugar so you can attach and not have some gaps in there because of those crystals. One reason why I like to do my sanding sugar on my cookies last. That way I don't have that problem, and making sure that my icing sticks to it. Now, if you want to make your Santa's hat look more like a cupcake, because it is a cupcake, that's one reason why I did the little wavy design here on the white. Because I wanted to make it look like a cupcake or a dessert style. But you can also do the white nice and flat like an original Santa hat. I kind of like it like this because it looks nice and clean. But you can do either one. And also, I like how this looks nice and flat because when it dries, it just looks nice and smooth. But you can also make it look more like a cupcake whipped buttercream topping by just doing 2 sections, one at a time, giving one section about 10 minutes to crust and then doing the other one. So you'll just fill in this larger part here where it tapers in right there. Just fill that part first, let that crust, and then you can do the little extra piece here afterwards, and then you'll have that sort of like a cupcake swirl to it. So either way, but I'm going to do it this way again because I like my icing to dry nice and smooth. So I'm going to give this about an hour and a half to dry. We'll be working with black and with white, so I don't want anything to be absorbed. So I'm going to give this some time to dry, finish up the rest, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I gave this some time to dry. So what I have here is my thick consistency icing, and I'm going to use that for the beard, the mustache, and the eyebrows. I'm going to switch tips 3 times. So I have here a tip 18, which is a pretty big star tip. And I'm going to make little rosettes counterclockwise. So I'm going to put some pressure and go up, under, and over. I'll fit 2 there, 2 here, and 2 on the side. Kind of going up above a little bit on that pink, that way you don't have some empty space there. And bring these down, because if you package these in little cello bags, they're going to dry very hard and they're going to rip your bag. So now I'm going to move on to the eyes really quick, and I have my black in a tip 1, or you can use a tip 0, and then just make 2 little eyes. And now I'm going to switch my tip that I use for the beard. I'm going to switch it to a tip 1. Or actually it is a tip 0. But you can use a tip 1. And then just squeeze for the eyebrows. And as you pull to the sides out, release the pressure. That way your eyebrows can be nice and thin at the end and not so thick and bushy. Just like that. If they don't have a nice peak at the end, just with your little tool kind of push it in or pull it out like that to thin it out. Okay, so now I'm going to switch my tip for the mustache. I have a tip 14 for the mustache, and you can again put pressure, and as you pull to the side, release the pressure, or you can have a nice little tip at the end. And here, squeeze, and as you pull to the side, release the pressure. And then you have your little Santa. So I'm going to give that some time so I can put in the nose, which will be the last thing to add there. But, you know, it is red, so I have to give that some time to dry. So what I'm going to do is a little ball at the top, same tip, number 14. And again, make just a little bit of a rosette at the top. Bring in the peak again so it doesn't puncture the bag. And so now I would give this about an hour to dry. I don't want any of that red getting absorbed into that white on the mustache, and I don't want a big halo there. So give this some time to dry. I'll finish up the rest and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I gave this some time to dry. So now I have my red here in a medium consistency in a tip 1. And I'm just going to make one little button nose. And that is it. That will complete our cookie, her little Santa. So give this some time to dry, and I'm going to finish up the rest and put them all together because that's pretty much it. Alright guys, there you have it, Santa cupcake cookies. Super easy to make, so I hope you can give these a try. I will look for the cutter online. It did come in a set, so hopefully I can find it, and if I do, I will link it down below in the description box like always. So that is it for this video, guys. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have been enjoying my Christmas videos and that you can at least give one of them a try. Alright guys, I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Stay tuned for more, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a good one.